What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome to the RNEWS evening show, and let's just jump into it. From r/politics, lock him up. For the Republic to survive Trump's presidency, he must be tried for his crimes, even if that sparks a constitutional crisis of its own. Wherever law ends, tyranny begins. If the law be transgressed to another's harm, and whosoever in authority exceeds the power given him by the law, and makes use of the force he has under his command, to compass that upon the subject, which the law allows not, ceases in that to be a magistrate, and, acting without authority, may be opposed, as any other man, who by force invades the right of another. This is acknowledged and subordinate magistrates. He that hath authority to seize my person in the street, may be opposed as a thief and a robber, if he endeavors to break into my house to execute a writ. Notwithstanding that I know he has such a warrant, and such a legal authority, as will empower him to arrest me abroad, and why this should not hold in the highest, as well as in the most inferior magistrate, I would gladly be informed. That was written in 1689 by English philosopher John Locke. His works directly inspired our nation's founding and its values and principles. He makes clear that accountability is a freaking requirement, and any official who feels himself above the law shall be seized in the streets as a thief and robber he is. Fricking 1689 in England. After this coming election we will see how these ideas work in real time. Either way the election goes we will see. Trump supporters would not even know who John Locke is. If they were to be presented his philosophy, I bet they'd label him a communist too. Lock him up. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, the People v. Donald J. Trump. The criminal case against him is already in the works, and it could go to trial sooner than you think. And here's the neat little trick. If the people vote this November, this trial and many others will all start to move forward blindingly quick. Trump, many members of his family, those advisors not already indicted or convicted, and hopefully a broad swath of corrupt politicians will all be moved into detention cells. That'd be some awesome reality TV for the MAGA hat to watch. I'll believe it when I see him in court. If he gets escorted out of the White House in handcuffs, I will make that picture my screensaver for years. After he's out of office, I am going to try hard never to see his face again or think about this nightmare. Sooner than I think was like 3 years ago. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. Man in induced coma after sickening head stomp during arrest, lawyer says. I would be fairly confident to say that in the Victoria Police Manual regarding their approved tactics, you're not allowed to ram somebody with a vehicle and you're certainly not allowed to stomp on their head. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. A+ reference. Double plus good reference. The future, crap's already here my man. It's a quote from 1984. The world is a sickening mix of 1984 and Brave New World. Frick it all. And idiocracy. Hit by cop car, then head stomped. Hit by cop car, pepper spray kicked repeatedly, then head stomped. Asterisk mirror. Also, they were there to help him with a mental illness. He had not committed any crime. How many times have we seen this? Frick the police. Get healthy or the beatings will continue. But try bringing up to some Americans that maybe trained social workers could do more good on calls like this and they'll call you a naive, Antifa, communist. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/News. US woman faces hefty fine after causing coronavirus outbreak in Bavaria. According to local authorities, she already had symptoms on her pub crawl and was waiting for the results of her corona test in Bavaria. A fine of €2,000 can be imposed for violations of quarantine regulations. The lady had symptoms, came to the test station and was told to stay in quarantine because of the symptoms, but she did not do so, says Schaaf. The 26-year-old had just returned from a vacation in Greece. She had symptoms, she had already gone to get tested. Going out at that point would be bad judgment. She was told to quarantine and did not. That's criminal. To add context, Jalopnik's David Tracy waited 6 hours in hotel room for test results. My co-worker waited till next morning. Just so people know what time frame we're talking about, since in US the results can come back in weeks. But it's not the case in Bavaria. Both examples above are from Munich. She couldn't stay put literally one day. But she paid good money for that vacation. Could you imagine wasting time for something as silly as keeping others healthy? She wasn't on vacation. She lives there. Edit. She's an American citizen who lives and works in Germany. Which makes it even more ridiculous that she couldn't wait. American woman, stay away from me. American woman, no corona vaccine. American woman, you should quarantine. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, Trump repeats California forest management is to blame for wildfires despite it being dismissed as devastating lie. So he thinks they should accept responsibility for the fires while he continues to accept no responsibility for COVID. Best comment of the day, here's a gold. What a piece of crap he is. Christ almighty. Trump will continue to double down on this bull crap. The alternative is to admit that he was wrong. Global warming is a problem that he is ignoring. Trump never set foot in a forest. Where are all the dead bodies buried then? In 195,000 hospital beds. 2%. Forest wilderness area owned by the state of California. 37%. Area owned by private interests. 61%. Area owned by the federal government. Trump needs to get his adult diaper wrap butt off his golf cart and get to rake in the forest floor. I believe Trump's pants are to blame for the fires. I'll show myself out. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, Biden campaign plans to run ad during every NFL game until Election Day. President Trump and other Republicans have distanced themselves from the NFL in recent months over players' protests against police brutality and racism. Well crap. Maybe being racist has some drawbacks after all. Trump ran an ad during the Ravens-Browns game today. Made me throw up in my mouth when I saw it. You're in a red state. I'm in a blue state, but the district I'm in usually votes for a Republican representative. So I've been seeing a lot of Trump ads. You're burying the lead here. Trump is having to spend time and money to promote himself in Texas. That's money that needs to be spent in swing states. Doesn't bode well for him. But still, vote. Who would have guessed in the divorce of the left and the right that the left could football and NASCAR? NASCAR has been turning left for a long time. Running ads telling fans that the stadiums wouldn't have to be completely empty all season had Trump managed the virus better is a really good plan. That's actually one of the ads I've seen from Biden, but it uses the big house as an example. Watched my Panthers lose today. As is tradition, his ads are so much better than Trump's. The fact that Trump's ad says he is responsible for the greatest economic comeback of all time is comical, yet many probably believe that. Time to donate more so he can keep it up. And that's where we are going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like, and if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.